Hello everyone, this is Rabab Alma, licensed marriage and family therapist and international life coach. This life is part of the 30 days of confidence. I am interviewing a special guest today, Dr. Farjana Khan. I am waiting for her to join me. Um, so I'm gonna invite her, and hopefully she will be able to join me very soon. Um, the okay, okay, approve. Soon. The focus of this project is to promote wellness and provide tips to the public and the audience based on the host and the guest experience. These slides are not meant for medical or professional help. They are just for general info. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Farjana Khan. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you for taking the time. I know your son is sick, so this is really special. I really appreciate it. Let's pray
Yeah,
that he will heal very quickly.
sure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having us. So let me introduce Dr. Farjana Khan. She is a psychologist and educator, and she is the CEO of AKKI, Action, Kindness, Knowledge, and Impact. I'm very intrigued by that, Dr. Khan.
Thank you.
She is an educator, she is an author, an activist, a life coach, and a motivational speaker. Tell us more about your career. It's very interesting to know all of this about you, about the project, the AKKI. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm a psychologist. I'm also an educator, and all the things you said, so I'm grateful for that. I do this with a passion because I want to make an impact on society. I want to make a difference in the world and create a better life for the next generation. So that's what my goal is, and this is why I do what I do. And I love
One,
doing what I do.
absolutely, it's very important to love what we do.
Of course.
Absolutely. So this project, the AKKI, Action, Kindness, Knowledge, and Impact. So what's the story behind this project? It's a very like feels like a very intriguing name, and
Sure.
yeah, tell us more about it,
Oh,
please.
thank you. It's a foundation that I created for victims of abuse. So women, children, or families that are in difficult situations, particularly women. The story behind it was, it was something that I went through in the past, and it motivated me to help other women in these situations. Basically, what I do is I provide emergency funds for them. So, like for instance, they're in a situation where they need a cab ride just to get away from the abusive relationship or abusive situation, and they don't have money because they get into this relationship. They get into these relationships, and they're taking care of the kids, and they rely on their husband completely, and or their spouse, and they don't have any money, nothing. So this is just to help them with to help them get out of these situations, emergency situations. Let it be a first month's rent or a cab ride, and also I provide free therapy for them for 1 month, so that's another thing that's included as well. So
That's amazing. So do you that on your own, or do you have someone that helps you? Because it seems like a lot of work and effort and time.
actually, it's just honestly, I work on it. My husband is also part of it, and it's just the community who spreads the word, the community, the that help with the fundraising and whatnot. So
So you are located in New York, correct?
yes,
Okay.
Long
So
Island,
which part? Long Island.
Long Island.
Oh, okay, okay,
I
wonderful.
was in New York City first, but then we're in Long Island now, so I'm still connected to that area as well.
Wonderful. And what type of population do you help? Do you provide this help to any woman that comes to your help and have these issues, or what kind of population do
Oh,
you serve?
it's to anyone, it's any individual. There's no, it's not based on ethnicity or where you're from. It's just if you need help, just reach out. And it's just
Wonderful.
for all families too as well. And it's not just women and just spousal abuse. It's for in-law abuse as well. That's something that a lot of us don't talk about.
Yes.
There's sexual abuse, there's in-law abuse, and these folds that are underneath abuse is never actually really brought into the public light, you know? So that's another big realm, especially in, you know, certain homogenous cultures where this is very prevalent, right? So we have these situations and nobody talks about the sister-in-law abusing the mother-in-law. So this is something that actually the main source that prompted me to actually create this foundation.
Wonderful. Because, yeah, I mean, especially in certain cultures or religion, if you will, like we don't talk about abuse from the in-laws because it goes under respecting the mother, for instance. And
Exactly.
yes, of course, we will respect the mother and the elderly, but there is a huge difference between respect and being controlled,
Exactly.
or being abused. So
Of
I think
course.
it's important to make this distinction between, okay, we will provide respect, but also I need to be autonomous, or I need to have my own life, and I should not really tolerate abuse. Do
Exactly.
you think under this program you can provide also like awareness? Some people don't know that they are actually facing abuse, you know?
Of course, definitely. And then before you know it, they're in this really hard, you know, terrible relationship, and they look back and they're like, wait a second, how did I even get here? How did I
Exactly.
even get here? So yeah, of course, I always that's another part of the work I do. I raise awareness. I have my own YouTube channel where I talk
Okay.
about a lot of these issues. A lot of these issues. I go into the how it happens, what happens, and how to
Wow.
stop it. And my number one video, actually, my number one talk is actually on. It's called the narcissistic mother-in-law. That's my number one talk.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, do you mind if you put that link of your YouTube in the comment section after this
Of
live? Because
course, of
I
course.
will be myself interested in listening to you. So,
Okay,
I
sure.
think, and a lot of people will be like really will benefit from your talk because, like you said, we don't talk about it. People don't really approach that subject at all. So before we go in, again, this is Rabab Alma, and I'm interviewing Dr. Farjana Khan. She's a psychologist and educator. Please feel free to share this video. It's very important. Dr. Khan is sharing very important information with all of us, and it's for all of us to benefit from. Please share it and comment in the comment section if you have any questions. We will be happy to address them at the end of the live. So, how long have you been in this career, Dr. Khan?
I would say more than 15 years.
Wow.
Yes, more than 50, just about more than 15 years. So.
So did you have this passion towards psychology and this field from the beginning, or did you just that evolved like throughout your career? How did you know that this is what you want to do?
Oh, I knew right away. I knew when I would say 17 years old. It's just because of a lot of things that, you know, that you go through in certain cultures, certain things that you just go through that are never talked about. Just sometimes it's through the culture. I'm going to make it very clear
Of course.
where, you know, girls aren't validated, right?
Hmm.
They're not validated. So the girls are, or just the children, I would say, are in the background and they're not validated. So they go outside of themselves looking for validation. So that realm, right? There's that confidence, right? For yourself. Then there's the other realm where there is actual mental health issues that no one gets the
No one
help.
talks about.
Exactly, because there's that stigma that's tied to it, right? So that's one of my, this is again another and one other major aspect that did prompt me was one of my cousins who actually had bipolar, was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and she was my best friend, and that was one I was like, wait a second, why did that happen to her? And that kept, you know, so I started, that was my passion over there started developing. So mental health issues within the family, extended family, was another reason. So the passion just grew, and I just wanted to know why people do what they do, right? Why do people do what they do? And then within my own experiences as I went on, you know, as an adult, as a young adult, it just became stronger, especially with what was going on in the world and just in general. Just I was like, okay, this is my purpose. So you use what you know, you can either become powerful or powerless, right? With the situations you go
Absolutely.
through in life, right? So you have that choice. So I decided to become powerful and go out there and help help people, help myself, you know, and make an impact.
And how did that impact you? Like after, because I do remember myself when I studied psychology, of course I have my own reasons, but for you, when you studied psychology, it's like empowering in so many dimensions. Like we need to empower ourselves first before empowering other people. Do you
Of
agree
course.
with that?
I agree with you 100%. You have to be the role model, right?
Absolutely. We have to lead by example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about motivational speakers. You're a motivational speaker. So what events do you engage in to speak to the audience about these issues and more?
Sure. Well, basically, with my motivational speaking, I empower women. I do empowerment talks. I do youth issues, developing confidence in youth, in women. Also, how to process emotions. Something else that's a very big factor. Again, no one teaches anybody how to process emotions, right?
Absolutely.
So think about this. We go to school. We learn. They teach us math. They teach us reading. No one teaches us how to process our emotions. So
Absolutely.
then you have all these children and future adults who don't know how to process emotions. So you have all these mental health issues or just how to live life and how to interact with individuals. They don't even have these skills.
Yeah, it will
So
manage. Go ahead.
sure. So that's another big one that I started doing now. Big talks that I have started doing. I just published a book called Watch Yourself. Um,
Oh, right.
it's my fifth book. I'm grateful to God.
Oh, so I have five books. So
Thanks.
tell
Yeah,
us, tell us the name of your books, please.
sure. One is three of them are all on the Muslim holidays because again,
Okay.
when I was going to school, there was no books on my holiday, right? On our
Yes,
holiday. So
yes,
I said, okay, when I remember saying this when I was a child, I was like, there's no books, and I've always felt left out. There's all the
yes.
holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas. So I said, okay, when I get older, I'm gonna make a book on Eid. So I made the three books on all three holidays: Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, and Ramadan.
Wonderful.
And at
Wow.
and the school that I actually go to, all the teachers have the books.
Wow.
The one
That's
the
amazing.
at the actually the teach the school that I actually went to, and I actually teach there now, currently as
Wow.
well as an educator. The school actually has the books.
Wonderful. That's
Yes.
amazing.
So
We
back
should all have these books.
to so back to
Everyone who's watching, you need to go and buy these books.
thank you. And then the other two books is one of them is it was school home communication and the impact
Mhm.
it has on children, kindergarten children. So I did a huge study on that. So that's
Okay.
the fourth one. And then the fifth one is just the one that I'm very excited about. The most recent one is Watch Yourself. And it's a
Oh.
technique that I came up with where
Uh-huh.
there's another you, where you teach kids or you teach any individual that there's another you that watches yourself, right? So you watch yourself, and that's basically called self-regulation, self-reflection, right? So the title is called Watch Yourself. There's 26 lesson plans actually in there that you
Mhm.
can do, teachers can use, or parents can use, or you can use it on yourself. And
Wow.
amazing techniques that there's another you watching yourself. So teaching children awareness, teaching individuals how to process emotions, something that's not taught. And then you see, unfortunately, the increased school shootings. You see all these situations going on because no one is addressing and teaching children how to process emotions.
Absolutely. So it's like you're teaching children to be their own discipline. Because we do to talk about self-discipline, for us adults, but we can start teaching children from their young age that they can discipline themselves by themselves, of course, with our guidance, but
Exactly.
that we have control over our emotions, not like something
Self-management.
wild. Absolutely. That's amazing. So that will teach responsibility and accountability, if you will.
Of course. Absolutely.
Wow. I will get that book.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is very exciting information. Actually, it's really it's very needed, like across the community.
Of course.
So that's amazing. It's these lives. It's like the life with you. It's like exposing me to wonderful people like yourself. Like I didn't hear about this book before, so now I am hearing about all of these books, and I think it's important to advertise for that. So yeah, if you can put the names of these books, please, in the comment section. It's very important because a lot of people feel that they don't have the resources, but actually they are there. We just have to reach out and
Exactly.
get them. So you are a wonderful resource for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, from your opinion, and because of your talk about well-being confidence is actually it's like an implicit outcome of being doing well. What is it that we can do, or what we usually do to undermine our confidence and well-being?
So what are some things that we do to undermine our confidence? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's, there's so many things we can do, but I'll just list some. One is negative self-talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just talking negative to yourself, right? About your life, about how you look, about situations in your life, making comparisons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that can, especially for the youth, you're comparing yourself to your friend, right? And you feel bad about yourself. Taking people's reactions personally, right?
Yes.
Or taking life situations personally, like, oh, it's my fault, I caused it. Uh, Also, not taking action regarding fears. So if you have some fears, you let the fears take over, and you're not taking the action to counteract the fear. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some few things that
Some
can
of them.
undermine confidence for sure.
And how do you think these actions that we do impact our well-being and self-confidence? How do some of these actions and other negative actions that we take impact our well-being? How do you think that?
Sure. So what are some negative impacts, right, of self-confidence?
Yes.
Basically, you're more prone to negative peer influence, right? You're indecision. So it's hard for you to make decisions, right? So you'll be just
Indecisive.
very
Yes.
indecisive,
Yes.
prone to drugs and alcohol. Research
Mm-hmm.
shows for females seeking negative male attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have low confidence, you're going to seek that. For
Absolutely.
others, seeking negative sense of belonging. So
Yes.
sometimes because you don't have that confidence and that self-love or a sense of belonging, you'll go to other negative sources like joining a gang. Unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah.
As well, there's also the repetitive cycle of dysfunction. So if you don't have the self-confidence and you're developing negative patterns of dealing with your emotions, what's going to happen? You're going to repeat that cycle to your children, right? And your children will repeat it. And then obviously there's negative mental health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you think someone can do to boost their confidence and to change that? All of this like negative self-talk, comparison, putting the self down, all of this negative behavior. How can we change that? Like if someone is always ruminating about something negative, how can we switch that? How can we switch the mindset, if you will?
Sure, I love this topic.
I need to. This is like.
Because you know what? It's like I always say this, change your mindset. Change your mindset. It's all about your mindset, right? So how do you change your mindset?
Mhm.
So I can give you a couple of some ideas. So number one, there's talk to a therapist. It's
Absolutely.
okay to talk to a therapist, right? You have
Absolutely.
someone neutral that can help you through your life situations. That's
Absolutely.
number one, right? And it doesn't matter how old you are. You don't have to be 25 or 30. You can be 10 years old to talk to somebody
Absolutely.
neutral.
Absolutely.
Another way you can build your confidence is, remember, one factor is put downs, right? If you're around, again, for the youth, they're in school or even in coworkers, you can have, whatever life stage you're in, you can have people who put you down, even your own loved ones, right? Unless you
Absolutely.
correct them. So build your 5-pack. This is something I came up with. It's called the 5-pack. I literally have people, label their 5 fingers, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 5 or less people that you trust because they've been there for you, right? These 5 or less people, it can't be more than 5. They help you with big decisions. Only their opinions matter because they've been through there for you. So when you're walking at the park, and I teach this too. This is in my Watch Yourself technique
In the
book.
book.
It's called the 5-pack. So you're walking at the park and someone calls you ugly. You have 2 choices. One, you can go home and say, "Oh my God, look at yourself in the mirror," and say, "Oh my God, am I ugly? Oh my God." Or you can say, "Whatever. This person is not in my 5-pack. Their opinion doesn't matter." So developing that inner power, right? This 5-pack helps you develop that personal power. So that's another way. Second, leading to developing personal power. What personal power? It's this inner power that you have within yourself, right? It's that,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure you know this. This is when, for instance, someone wrongly blames you or takes out their frustrations on you. And this happens sometimes in your
They
family.
project their own stuff on you.
Exactly. So this is this inner power that you use, and you say, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. You say it in your head. If it's an adult, and let's say you're a child and you can't, there's a certain, whatever it is, you just say, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything. So this is this inner power that you develop. And you remember that their problem isn't your problem. So you kind of detach a little bit. So this is developing inner personal power. Then you also have to actively build your confidence by owning your life. Remember that whole changing your mindset? So you take action. So for instance, if you feel like you, especially again for teenage girls, maybe you feel like you're gaining weight or you want to be a certain weight, healthy weight, you go join the gym, right? So you take action. Building confidence doesn't come naturally. You have to actually take that action to build that
intentional.
Exactly.
Yes.
And other ways, when you exercise, endorphins are released, right? So
Absolutely.
what ends up happening, you have an elevated state. So not only are you getting physically stronger and feel better, you also emotionally feel better, right? Because of the physiological connection.
Absolutely.
There's positive affirmations, right? Again, the mind has a tendency to focus on the negatives. So we need those constant reminders. I literally have reminders in my closet that says, I love myself, I am awesome, I rock, so I need those reminders. And I think everyone needs those, especially when you're a young girl, like I can do it or something like that.
Absolutely.
And then there's self-help books, like regular reading of self-help books. There's self-reflection. So those are some ways you can actively build your confidence and start taking control of your life, right? Then being disciplined and having routines. So keep things organized, keep things clean, engage in self-care, take your vitamins, drink your water. Sometimes we're so busy we don't even drink water.
Absolutely.
They're not the right amount.
Self-care.
Self-care. Finances in order. And why is self-care important? Because it develops love, right? So having routines gives you a sense of self-love, and that develops hence your confidence. Absolutely. Right? Stay emotionally healthy. So here you want to process your emotions, learn how to process your emotions. You also want to heal from old wounds. So you might have wounds that you haven't really dealt with. So again, staying emotionally healthy builds your confidence. Another method is keep distance from negative people and family members. Very important, right?
Very important.
So, unfortunately it happens. And a technique that I always tell my clients or my students is, you're not a plant. You have legs, you can walk away, right? So if you're in a gathering and you're feeling put downs, you're feeling whatever, you don't have to stay there. You can just go to the next room. You have legs, you can walk away, right? So I say that, so the 5-pack, you're not a plant. Then also write a success list. So everyone should have this. One way to boost your confidence, and an easy way to boost your confidence before the school year starts or before the work year starts or whatever it is, have a success list. Make a list of all your successes. Make a list, like 12, whatever it is. I received my PhD or I received my master's and blah, 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 whatever it is, I got in this award. So then what ends up happening when you feel down, when you're feeling, everyone has their moments and everyone has their days. You take that success list out and you're like, wow. And it again gives you that quick boost of confidence. So looking at that once a month regularly, just, okay, look at all the things I've accomplished.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself. That's another way.
This is a big one. That's a big one.
It's a huge one.
Yes.
We're humans, and we're going to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, and just realizing that and forgiving yourself. So again, you're going to make mistakes. Accept that. It's a reality. Everyone makes mistakes. You're going to get back up, dust yourself, and try again. And you'll make another mistake. And then guess what? You're going to do the same thing all over again.
This is how we learn and grow.
Exactly. You can either be powerful or powerless, right? Absolutely. With your situations. Next, don't absorb everyone's problems. One tendency is, if you're good-hearted, you tend to want to help everybody, right? And it's okay to help people. It's okay. But remember, their life is not your life. So you don't have to absorb everyone's problems. You can help, but then you need to move on. You can help and detach. Help, detach. their problem, is not yours, especially with your loved ones. It's very, very easy to just,
That's a tricky one. That's a very tricky one.
That's a tricky one.
Because you can be sucked in the system. Absolutely.
Sure. And I have a couple more. Have a bigger purpose. So I tell this to a lot of my clients, my youth, like younger clients, you know, and they're young adults. You know, they get very upset over colleagues or because they have new jobs and they don't know how to deal with the work for, you know, the work environment. And I tell them, don't personalize people's actions, and then also have a bigger goal. So when you have a bigger purpose where you're working for a bigger cause to help solve, right? What ends up happening is you don't take these minor things so personally. You're like, wow,
seriously.
So seriously, because you're saying, oh wow, you know what? Life is bigger than this. I'm doing this and doing this. I'm doing bigger things in my life. I'm helping. I'm making a difference. So you have a bigger purpose. That helps develop confidence. And then have a 2-year and 5-year goal. That helps you give a purpose, right? You're reaching for something.
Short term and long term.
Exactly. And then the last thing, which is I really want to emphasize, is do not personalize life situations and people's actions. This is a big one.
This is a huge one.
It's a huge one. But I try to simplify it for people. You know, I try to simplify it. And so basically, this is how I explain it. Know everything is pre-planned. Know everyone has problems. Who doesn't have problems?
No one.
Everyone has problems. So it's not personal, right? It is there to make you grow. It is there to make you stronger. Simple. So let life be. So when life situations happen in life, don't personalize it. Just life is going to happen. Just let life happen. Absolutely. You just accept it and make the right decisions along the way. That's it. So again, that's one way to explain life. As far as people's actions are also a reflection of themselves, right? Their own programming, their own toxins, or whatever they went through, right? Whatever era they grew up with, who they were around. So when they hurt you, don't take it personally. You stay laser focused and you keep on doing good, because it's not about you. It's what they're going through.
It's about them.
Their journey.
In their side of them.
Exactly, their journey. So this is how I try to explain.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think those are wonderful tips. Again, I am Rabab Alna, licensed marriage and family therapist and international life coach. I am interviewing Dr. Farjana Khan. She's a psychologist, educator, a coach, an author of 5 books. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
So do you have any success story? Of course. I mean, just throughout your career, we all have like success and challenges. So do you recall like a successful story where people really implemented all or some of these tips and they actually shifted their lives?
As far as other people?
When people apply these tips and they turn their life around, they were able to turn their life from like someone who is negative to someone who's actualized and confident.
Okay, so can you ask me that one more time?
Yeah.
Like success stories of other people or me personally?
It doesn't matter. So whatever you feel,
sure.
If you feel successful for you or for other people, like it's an example of something you went through or someone else you witnessed that went through.
Sure. Well, I'll give you 2 examples. So number 1 example would be anything I teach or I put out there is something that I've already done, right? So any technique I've implemented on myself. So negative situations will happen in your life. As I said, it's obvious, right? And I said you can become powerful or powerless, right? So just with the action, the AKKI Foundation, that's an example of me using what I went through in my life and using that as a motivator, right? As far as techniques that I've listed and it actually helping others, I am very humble to say this, that every client that I have seen till this day so far, who've implemented what I've asked them to, what I've relayed, has made progress where I don't have to see them anymore. I have a timeline and I'm like where they meet.
Yeah, that's the goal. Absolutely. To make them self-sufficient.
You have the goal. Yes. I tell whoever I have helped, I say very clearly, I'm like, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to help you and move on with your life.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so what ends up happening is I feel very humble to know that these techniques have helped. And this is why when I made the Watch Yourself book, when I published it, I
Mm-hmm.
actually used it on my students 2 to 3 years in a row before I published it, just
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that there is
It works.
it works. So I've seen it among the parents the parents that I've helped, the families I've helped. I've seen these success stories with these confidence.
Wonderful. Yeah, because ultimately the purpose of therapy is to get the client to a point when they are independent and they are able to take care of themselves on
Self-sufficient.
their own.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to create codependency, if you will. We want to
Exactly.
create self-sufficiency and actualization. So people need to take ownership. They need sometimes maybe guidance, like you said in the beginning, but they
Exactly.
need to be on their own to manage their own issues on their own and feel empowered, like you
Yes,
said.
exactly. That's
Absolutely.
the goal.
Yes, absolutely. So to be independent on your own, absolutely. So what are your future plans, professional plans?
Sure. Well, my future plans are to continue speaking on pertinent topics that nobody talks about. That needs to be more awareness has to be raised, right?
The in-laws, you mean the
The
abuse
in-law
from?
issues. There's so many drug and alcohol abuse in Muslim communities. Just a lot of many topics that aren't really talked about. And then also in the future, I'm in the process of writing my next book, which
Which
is
book?
an Islamic self-help book. So I'm very
Okay.
excited about it.
Oh, that's very exciting. That's
I'm
very
very
exciting.
excited about it. It's a self-help book with a lot of the techniques that I've created, and just with a lot of Quranic and quotes in there, which is not
So it's a spiritual spin to the
spiritual
movement,
twist. Yep.
spiritual spin. That's important because in my practice, like I usually ask people what's their spiritual orientation, and based on that, you can steer and implement some of the techniques that fits their spiritual orientation
Exactly.
according to their level of practice, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims.
Exactly.
But I think
It
it's
could be
important
applicable
because
to anyone.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Exactly.
wonderful. Yeah. So how can the audience reach you, Dr. Khan?
Sure. They can reach me through my direct line. I have a direct line that I can email you, or I can
Oh, you
post
can put it in the comment
on the
section.
comments. Exactly. And then my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
and my by email or Facebook.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, if you can put that in the comments so people can reach you,
Sure.
that's amazing. So at the end of the interview, I want to know what are your final thoughts on the topic. What
Unconfident.
would you like? What would you like to share? Last comment you'd like to share with the audience?
Okay. I just would honestly share that you need to change your mindset. If you want anything to change in your life, you need to change your mindset. You need to take control of your life because no one else is going to do it for you. So if you want something in your life, you need to do it, right? No one else can do it for you. And always remember, life situations will happen to everybody. And you can take those moments and become powerless or powerful. And I suggest you be powerful, and be powerful wherever you are, because you are beautiful and you're amazing, and there's no reason for you not to be confident.
Absolutely,
There's no
absolutely,
reason for you to not be confident, because you're a
absolutely.
beautiful soul. You were created beautiful. You're a beautiful soul. So go out there and live your life and be happy.
And
Just
don't
be
worry about what people think because
what
it's
people
all about.
say. Exactly.
Absolutely, it's all about what we put out in the world. We don't have to listen to what people because everyone is projecting what's going on in their own life, in their own. Yes,
Perfect.
absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. So I'm looking at the comment section here. I don't see questions, but I see Ibtisam said this is the truth. Amira says thanks for the amazing speech. Mubashir Latif says mashallah.
Mhm.
So so people are really benefiting from your interview and for the wonderful ideas you have presented. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate that you have joined me in this live. Although I mean your son is sick, so this is really very special, and my heart is really like I'm so moved by your generosity. You're giving me all this time, or giving the audience while you have to attend on your family. So I'm really thankful and honored that for you to share to join us this interview. Thanks. Thank you so much.
for
So
having me.
at the end of thank you so much. So at the end of the interview, I want to thank you again. If you would like to get in touch with Dr. Farjana Khan, she will put her information in the comment section, her YouTube, the books. She has 5 books. I'm very excited about that. Everyone needs to buy these books because she is putting a lot of wonderful information. So we need to support that project. We need to learn from this information and purchase the books. And through her Facebook, through her email and information, she will put them in the comment. If you would like to contact me, you can use the link Speak with Rabab or through the Facebook. Please, if you like this video, share, like, and share it on your page. This is very important for a lot of people to listen to. There are a lot of topics that Dr. Khan mentioned that we usually don't talk about, like the abuse in our communities, especially with the family members and the in-laws. So again, thank you again so much, Dr. Khan. And until next time, I thank you so much. Until next time, I will have another interview on Sunday with Abdulaziz Sayed. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening, Dr. Khan. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.